Nice to see you all. Everybody's looking relaxed and tan and smiling, so it's good. Cool. I'm from KFA, Kitefoil Australia. We are a small hydrofoil company. Started in 2013. We are now up to our fourth model. The beginnings were pretty humble and hard. As we all know, these things are pretty hard to make. Even, like experienced boat builders and people that's been working in composites for many, many years, are struggling to make these things work for us. They're small, but they require a lot. They need to be super stiff, super strong, and also super fast. So, these three aspects make it quite challenging to design and especially build these foils. So, a bit over a year ago, we actually started to reach out and to some, experienced boat building factories, also some design offices to just step it up and, really make these things what they are today, super fast, efficient, and built for purpose of racing. However, we also found out that any good design foil is basically good for anybody riding. I know there's a lot of people now, getting into the sport, and there's the talks about entry-level foils, which we have a lot of the big brands making aluminium foils, which is great for the sport because it gets people into it. It's a lower cost in carbon, but sooner or later, these people, pretty much after a few months, outgrow those foils and they want speed. Speed is the big sensation on these things, and they feel slippery and fast in the water. So we believe really good design foil is good from beginner to expert, really. There is a lot of different design aspects with the foils. I just want to quickly talk about our approach. So as I mentioned, we are employing a design company called D3 Applied Technologies in Spain. Also our test team, which Alex is part of, and also Florian Triple, are based in Spain. So we base ourselves now with the development of the foils in Spain, where everything is there, and all these guys speak Spanish. Must be getting better day by day, a little bit. So that's for us a pretty strong base. We started with a small factory in Australia that can basically only make one foil a week, which wasn't enough to supply the demand. Now we've got a really good builder in Sweden called Marstrom. They've been making high-end boats, which they have gone away from a few years ago to make more money. So now they're making pretty much only defense, composite parts, and also a lot of aerospace stuff. So the foils for them is something that brings the old sailing passion, boat building passion back, and also keeps them at the high end of composite manufacture when it comes to stiffness and just the construction of these things. With our model, the Mako VX version 1, we have basically wanted to create a foil that has as little issues as possible. In the past, we learned from having different parts, and especially the wing connections to the fuselage was always an issue, especially with the male-female connections that we had on our previous model. From the pressure and use and hitting stuff, there was use, and then the things got loose and it just gone worse. So we basically said we only wanted a two-piece foil. So our hydrofoil, the Mako, as you can see, it's only a mast with a fuselage mounts onto with two screws, and that's it. The wing is set at a certain angle that we've basically determined. We have a few different angles that we've played with. Now Alex uses an angle that is negative 2.4 degrees, and Florian uses a bit more lift, so he's got 2.7 negative on the aft wing, where the front wing is set at 0, which is pretty standard, I think. Looking at the mast, our most important thing was that we wanted to have it stiff, but still, really slick and slippery section. So we did a few load tests on different foils in the past. So we've done all the the technical stuff on it, and basically we ended up with where we found out that certain laminate schedules, or the way that the fibers are orientated in the strut, with high modulus carbon fiber. So they're all unidirectionals in there, and then we just use the woven stuff on the outside to protect it. Because as you know, if you hit something with unis, they are very brittle. So if you whatever out there and you hit it on the unis, they will splinter straight away. We also go on the plate because we still believe it's just a better way to mount the board to the foil to the board. Everybody I know loves the tuttle because it's cleaner, it's submerged in the board, it sits nice and flush. We're also going to offer the tuttle option for the people that have boards. So on the new model that's coming out now, we're going to have that option as well. So at the moment we're pretty happy with where we are, and development never stops with these foils, which is the exciting thing. It's also a costly thing because you have to make molds out of metal to make new tools. We have played around a bit with 3D printers and making wood molds and glass molds, but at the end it sort of doesn't really work that well. You can do what some other people do. You can make some more fiberglass, like the old formula racing fins, but you need a CNC machine for that as well. And then if you CNC those, or you CNC some metal, basically comes down to the same thing. So yeah, that's really the challenges I think that everybody faces is to make these things strong, good design, and stiff, and that they don't break. I think breakage has been one of the biggest problems for most of us manufacturers. And that's the biggest nightmare for the people that are riding, for the brands. It's just, a lot of issues. It's the same with the kite manufacturer. You really want to make sure that this stuff is, is tight and lasts. And with this model here now, we've, been super lucky so far. We haven't had a single one break, so I think we're on a pretty good track. And yeah, we're just excited, for the future, and excited to have so many brands out there making stuff now, pushing in different aspects of designs. Obviously everybody's looking and copying a bit, that's what we did with the first 3 models. We basically just looked at the best and made it worse. It's just the way it is. You can never make it as good as the original. That's just one thing. So for this model, we went away from anything and we just started from scratch, and did our homework, took all the experience and feedback in from the riders, and yeah, we got our unique foil, and yeah, we've just started a bit over a year ago. We've got a pretty good team, and yeah, pretty happy. Also the boards, our foil designers is also now designing the boards for us. So same approach, we do some fluid dynamics on it. Also some testing with aerodynamics as well, because obviously we're going pretty fast in the water, so that is playing a role as well now in racing. So that's something we're looking at it now, and just pushing again the boundaries, same like with the foils, for size, strength, and weight. I think with the boards, weight is a really important thing. This is the first little board that I built myself, so I'm pretty stoked about that. It took me a bit over a week of hard work and lots of sanding and getting your hands in the resin, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. Also helping with the development and building the foils. It's a lot of knowledge to be gained, and we're racing them as well, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So basically, now everybody is going, just something, that's happening at the moment. Everybody's going towards longer masts. So we got our first mast here that's 1 or 2 centimeters from top to from bottom to the top. Now we got our new mast that is 1 or 6 long. Spots were the first ones that came out with a bigger mast in San Francisco at the last event. There was Johnny and Nico that were riding along the mast, and also Johnny came to Australia with a longer mast. It was very windy and choppy conditions, and it worked really well for him. Longer mast, also Ollie likes riding one in the lighter winds, especially. It just makes it easier basically to keep your level foiling going through very rough conditions. So obviously the longer you go, the harder it is to maintain the flex and bend in the foil, in the mast. So the structure is a critical key, but if you're able to maintain enough stiffness in it, then there's not many disadvantages in it. I know that Ricky thinks the shorter mast is better, but that's probably because the longer mast is not stiff enough. I don't know, it's still very early days with the long versus shorter mast debate. However, that's like another option we have now. All the old fuselages are compatible, so it's exactly the same amount and seat. So people could have 2 masts they're traveling with, maybe also different wings, which people are doing at the moment. So that is something that's happening at the moment. I think it's the biggest new thing in foil designs is the different length in the masts. And I'm sure there's a lot of discussion and pros and cons about it at the moment. You're going to see people here riding longer and shorter masts. So that's something that's happening and that we basically took on board as well. Profile, if you're interested in that. We were able to keep a 12 millimeter thickness of the mast. I think that's the thinnest mast at the moment on the market, which is pretty cool. I was a bit scared, and said, let's just go 13 like most the other manufacturers go, but the designer wanted to stick to that, so we said cool. And the mast is super stiff, even stiffer than the older one. Because we changed a few little things in the way that the carbon is laid up. So it's pretty happy with that and how it turned out so far. So we got another model that's coming now, where we basically just improved little things we found that could be improved. So we changed the fuselage a little bit. We also changed the aft wing a little bit, gave it a different profile and a little bit of a different shape. Then we got the longer mast, and we're going to have the towel and plate options. Some good mates that have been crying for towel are pretty loud, and as I said earlier, probably 80% of the people out there foiling gun boards with towel boxes now. So it is, it just makes sense to make sure we can, provide for that market too, and people don't have to, either savage their board or get a new board. But we're also working on a free ride foil that we're going to offer full carbon, so we don't want to go towards aluminium. We tried with aluminium, did some prototypes, and basically too heavy to carry around, and also you can't do much with the foil section, so you can never paint it or sand it. We love painting and sanding, so that's something we gotta keep. But there will be a free ride option, the cheaper version as well, probably with the shorter mast. That's going to cost between $1,000 and $1,500, and then that's going to be offered with the board as well. So we're going to aim at offering a board foil combination for the high-end racing stuff, but also for the free ride market.
Okay, so you have 5 minutes for questions.
Cool, perfect. That concludes my presentation. Thanks for listening. Staying with me, so open for questions.
Marvin, this is going to ask also Levitas, what do you guys recommend for sanding, polishing, and buffing? Most people seems like using some kind of paint first and then.
I should be the expert, just looking at experience. But there is different techniques and different things. I guess the only thing that you want to achieve really is to smoothen out your surfaces. So if you have imperfection in your surfaces, then you can do that by painting. The best paint is probably first to use just a primer, that you use on cars, just a high build primer. It's important, so it's good quality, high build stuff, and you can just apply it with your spray can. If you have a spray gun, even better, you know how to work that. And then we use polyurethane paint, so something that's strong, also high build. You can get stuff if you want to go out with UV resistance, so it doesn't change color and withstands the sun. However, people said, "Oh, I'm scared my carbon will go worse." It's nonsense. Like, the longer you leave this out in the sun, the stiffer it's actually going to get, because the resins, everything in there from the heat, everything is just will strengthen up after a while. So I wouldn't worry too much about sun and those impacts. Then start rough with 600, 800, and there's people here using 2500. I only use 1200. That's plenty for me. But yeah, look at the Moffs and the America's Cup guys. They're constantly sanding their foil. So it's something, I guess, you give your foil a little love before every regatta and just get out the 2000 and it's relaxing and warms you up. So it's that way. Directions, there's people telling different things. Some people say, you go 45 degrees. Some say, oh, just go straight, both directions. So I don't really think it matters much. Make sure that your trailing edge has no mold marks or no kinks, because if your trailing edge is not good, then you get that whistle. So if your foil whistles, just sand your trailing edge on your foils and on your mask, and then you should be sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chip.
Marvin, you've got a great looking mask.
Thanks, bro.
Sure, it's very stiff. When you guys do your tunnel-based version, is that swoop just going to move in a little bit?
Yeah, this here is just basically, to give it more strength at the top. It doesn't really do much.
But that cord length will reduce.
Yeah, a little bit. It's probably gonna. I'm not 100%. Don't remember how long it is, but it's not far off the tunnel. So it'll just be, it'll probably just sort of end here and go to the outside of the tunnel.
So you haven't made that mold yet?
No, mold is not made yet.
And question 2.
But the other way it could be is it goes in like this, and then it just has, a little hangs over, yeah, and that probably be good as well, because then you have a flat surface that also pushes onto the board. So you have something submerged and then something that pushes. Onto that. You could make it in the front or in the back. The front would probably be better. So if you hit something, there's also something that
And also listening to you talk, I think you guys do resin infusion. Is that right?
No. We do closed mold, autoclave. All the stuff is pre-preg, so we don't have any infusion stuff.
And
So the way the autoclave works, an oven, it gets heated up to a certain temperature, and then also you put pressure then onto the molds and close up. It takes a bit longer to cool it down, but
it's solid. You're not
it's
going to have a foam or anything.
No, we used an extending foam on the old ones, which worked pretty good, but now it's 100% carbon.
Okay, we have 15 seconds. Mikey had a question.
I'm just curious about marketing. How many units are sold worldwide? Do you have any idea what sort of market you're looking at for hydrofoils now? And what percentage of those people are racers versus free riders?
We haven't done any of that market research. I just know what we have sold and some of the other companies. But I estimate that now, like in this last 2015, there's probably been, I think over 1,000 hydrofoils sold worldwide. and like the tendency is going up, especially entry-level foils, but also then the race foils, because people outgrow those entry-level foils quickly. They have a mate on the beach with a fast foil, they jump on it, they hook straight away, they're never going to touch their liquid force or Cabrino, whatever it might be, ever again.
Thank you so much. Round of applause.
Hi, my name is Marvin from Kitefoil Australia. We produce high-end carbon hydrofoils from freeride to racing. We are based in Australia with our factory being in Europe. Also our design team and test team is now based in Spain with our two pro riders and testers, Alejandro and Florian Trittel, design offices D3 Applied Technologies, also in Spain. You can purchase our foils online through our website or contact us directly via email or social media. We focus on quality foils. Also, we design and produce boards that are suited to the foils. We are entering the market now with a low-cost freeride foil, also made out of carbon, that will be under €1,000 to give the entry level something that they can start off with for lower cost. So we are a small but high quality company producing hydrofoils, and we have a lot of fun, and we're just looking at extending our network, dealer network, riders network. So we try to provide foils to your beach that you can test and get the feel of a really low drag, easy to ride foil that has superior quality. We also try and extend our dealer network, so if you know anybody that's interested in our product, shops, distributors, please feel free to contact us. If you got any questions, we're always there to give advice and share the story. Happy days.